we get this drip down with everything from the World Tour, and everyone's been pushing fuel and carbohydrates. Carbohydrates seem like the new aero and the new doping mixed in together. Everyone's gone high octane on this 120, 130, 140. What happens if I take 180? Do I explode? And as a proxy, that started to happen in ultra endurance, where people are really prioritizing this high carb intake.
Yes.
Do you think it's necessary in ultra endurance to take that many carbs? I would have thought a higher percentage of our workload has been fat fueled than straight out road racing.
Yes and no. So if we just go to the road cycling side of it, is especially over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, the nature of cycling has changed. So I find it's a lot more aggressive from the gun to what it was before. You can see it. Races are faster now. That's it's as clear as day. Like Roubaix now was faster than the previous years. Yes, there's a lot that comes into play, weather, wind, etc. But in general, racing is a lot more intense. You need to fuel that intensity. The only way you're going to do that is by fueling yourself. The only thing comes in is that as an athlete, yes, you can train your gut for better absorption, but there's a point where you can absorb it, or intake, but is your body absorbing it? So there will be a time where you as an athlete can only do 120. You can do it, you can maybe take in 160, but you're not really absorbing it.
Yeah.
So there is that element that needs to come into effect. From the ultra endurance side, again, it's very personal on athletes. Yes, when you look at it from a data side, you are using predominantly fats. That's where you are. So you want to be, your fat oxidation level needs to be good. But again, you still need to fuel, and with an athlete, we had put a really big focus on that last year, and he did increase his carbohydrate intake. We had gone from sort of like, okay, he was low. He was on like 90 to begin with, and we're now on 130, and there was a huge improvement in performance.
Really?
I don't believe he can go more than that for many reasons, because when you are totally smashed 3 days in and you've had 3 hours sleep in 3 days, it is hard to eat. So we had also changed what he ate at the same time. And we are looking at also just introducing, which I'm not a fan of in World Tour level. I personally believe there's not enough data, but I also don't believe it's of any use, a glucose monitor. I'm not anti it, but I just think it's pointless at World Tour level. But at the ultra endurance, this is coming from one of my business partners who is a nutritionist. He had given me this information, which made sense, especially on the ultra endurance stuff. Maybe a glucose monitor is good to just understand what he or she as the athlete is doing over that long period of time, because you can stabilize over that period. So, but going back to the athlete was, we introduced a higher carbohydrate intake. He definitely felt an improvement, but then it was how we getting that in, especially after 3 days. Like it's hard to eat solids after 3 days. You also can't pack correct food for 3 days, especially you pull up to a petrol station and they only have X, Y, and Z, available to you. If it's really a raw endurance event where they just say, well, here's a start, here's a finish, we'll hopefully see you in 5 days. So there we kind of tailored it to, okay, what response do you get out of certain stuff at a petrol station, so to speak, and what can you carry that's easy? So if you can't take fuel, like big solid stuff, we're now taking sort of like baby formula, high in nutrition, but easy to carry, and just add water or just like baby slush. So from the endurance side, we've kind of started trying to specialize a little bit that way for him to improve. But, I can't see him doing, if he does 180 grams, he'd need to ride with a string around his ears and a packet between his legs, like he'll just be going to the toilet all day.
It's crazy.
It
very
does
interesting,
become specialized.
It's very, very interesting that the trickle down is it's real from so much of this stuff from World Tour, that there is performance gains. Just to finish up and circle back to one of the initial premises of the conversation, that our listener to this, they're balancing these conflicting demands and they're trying to get the best return on investment, to use a financial analogy. They're putting in 6 hours a week, 8 hours a week, 10 hours a week. They want to maximize the adaptations they can get from that. Is there anything recovery wise that you're doing at Bora that you think amateur athletes should be implementing? I'm thinking, ketones post training, space boots, massage, foam rolling, ice baths, like the whole plethora of stuff. What should we be doing?
I would say rest is genuinely, if we take one word, I would take rest as your key kind of take home from it. A lot of the time they're doing more than what they meant to, and they're scared of taking rest because I think, if I don't rest, I don't train, I don't get better. But often if you rest, you get the adaptation and you do get better. How you do that recovery or that rest, whether it's, as you said, massage, boots, ice baths, those three things, if we take it as a reference, there is no scientific evidence that shows that they work. It's more a placebo. But yet, for myself, if I have a massage, I feel like a whole new human, like that's what it is. So whichever your go-to is for that, keep doing it. And get that effect back from it. So it's not like there's anything special that you do at World Tour. It's just that when you do recover, you do it 100% correct. Make sure your nutrition is correct. So you're eating correctly, you're resting correctly. And whether, as you said, it's, ketones, whether it's, yes, there is evidence on that post-training, but I really wouldn't kind of try to tell people, everyday people, to go that route. But just make sure you recover properly and don't be scared to rest, to be honest. Like often that is where your problem comes in, is that they're too scared to rest. And when they go worse on the bike or they see a negative training or negative feelings, they think, I'm not fit enough, I must train harder. We do the absolute opposite. Take rest, and when you get back on the bike, you'll typically feel stronger.
I had Mate Mohoric on the podcast, and he had one really simple insight. He said it took him almost a decade to figure out that the purpose of training was to get faster, not just to train. Yeah. And it sounds 100%. So simple, but to think of someone at his level that's won classics already is just having that revelation.
Yeah, correct. And look, it's Mohoric, like a legend, let's be honest. So, and I've heard how, he's not scared to train and stuff. And, as you said, for him to have that revelation now is, if he does that, he'll be even more dangerous, So my thing is always that people are scared to rest. And when they go worse on the bike, they train harder, which is literally the worst thing you could do, in my personal opinion. Take one step back and go two forward.
And, that's even worse for amateur athletes, because if you think about, we typically have frequency, how many days a week we can train, duration, how long we can train, and intensity, how hard we can train. For amateur athletes, we typically can't up our frequency, we can't up our duration. So when we're going bad, it's normally we need more recovery. But what do? We yank at that frequency lever, or we yank at the intensity lever, and now 4x4 VO2 max becomes 6x4 VO2 max, and we just go harder and harder and dig further and further into that hole. And I think the best way to get out of a hole is to stop digging the hole.
Yeah. And also what that amateur cyclist doesn't understand often is that they train, they often have a wife and kid, they may have a mistress, they have a job, they have
complicated.
They've got all these other external factors that take a lot of energy to manage and do. And if they train, from 6 to 8 in the morning, they then go to a full 9 to 5 office job. It's a lot of stress. You're not really recovering. You then got to go home, see your wife, see your kids. As I said, maybe your mistress is somewhere else. There's a lot of stuff going on where, that takes away from recovery time that they don't take into effect. So it's not just they get to go home, and not every pro cyclist goes home and puts his feet up, but their availability to have more recovery at the end of a week in terms of hours is more than me and you going to work.
100%. John, I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you very much for being so generous with your time, and best of luck this year.
Pleasure. Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to it.
Roadman, I know how serious you take your health and fitness. If you're looking for a powerful ally to support you on this journey, look no further than Huel. Huel is perfect for athletes that don't have time to cook and prepare food before a training session. It's convenient, nutritious fuel at your fingertips, ensuring you hit your daily fueling needs for your session. Huel Ready to Drink has over 26 essential vitamins and minerals in every single bottle. Plus, it's made from all natural ingredients. There's 8 mouth-watering flavours. Iced coffee is absolutely class. To get your hands on Huel Ready to Drink and get it delivered directly to your home, go to huel.com/Roadman. The details are in the description below.
If you enjoyed this video and you want to keep binge watching the content, check this video. It's a cracker. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way, I can catch you in the next one. See you then.